What's happening, people? Hope everyone's well. Back again, episode 3,
So
by
free.
popular demand. Yeah. No, we were going to say because obviously we set up that email last week and had a few messages from it. Oh,
It's got to happen every week now.
yeah. No, I had a few messages. A few people reached out on that, which
Mm,
I'm trying to be
I
serious
know
here
you
as
have.
well.
So
Which first of all is very, very brave. And yeah, I give credit and respect to anyone that did send me a message, and obviously people know who they are. And had a good few chats with people as well that sort of was praising us for what we're doing, which we obviously appreciate. And when they were talking specifically about the mental health talk
yeah, I'd say that was. I don't know if it maybe we didn't make it clear enough last week. But obviously, that was the point we was making. Is we come off topic
last week,
just
we
to
did.
thank
Yeah,
people. But obviously now it'll be back to what it was. It was just
yeah,
sort of like the first one was
yeah. We
like
don't want people to think that it started off strong and then it's dipped
yeah,
slightly.
no, we're
But
just going to be going on. And this is what we are
yeah,
doing now.
no,
Like
last
yeah,
week was a bit of a different one because we weren't really expecting what we got from the first. So
just a thank you.
yeah, and now we're back to it, and it's going to be proper from now on. From today onwards, we're
Well,
going
we
to talk
hope.
about some stuff. Yeah, and yeah, and we'll give the people essentially what they want, what we've been asked for. And again, thank you to everyone that has sent messages for the likes, comments, everything. And yeah, hopefully we can help people. Me receiving those messages, and obviously I've told you about a couple, is what this is all about.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's to receive those messages means a lot to me that we're managing to make an impact on people. And as I say, I have been in that situation where I've had to reach out to people,
Yeah,
so I know how hard it is to send that message. So anyone that's done it, yeah, fair play.
yeah, no, it's pretty mad.
But yeah, we're just again we haven't planned anything.
No, I feel like it's just better natural.
Yeah, we're just going to talk, get into it.
Like you said, there might be a few times where it's sort of a little bit like think of something quick, but
Yeah,
that's just I think it's better that way rather
yeah,
than
and people are just going to have to sort of
there with.
yeah and understand obviously that we're having a go. Neither of us are trained in this. You know what I
No,
mean?
we're not
We're
media personnel.
no, we're putting a camera up, we're having a chin wag. So hopefully we get onto topics that help people and we can make a difference. And yeah, it
Yeah,
is
so
what
I
it is.
think a lot of it we end up relating to is more like the drinking stuff, just because obviously that's like the biggest impact for you.
Personally, yeah.
But obviously, like you see in the first one, it ends up sort of getting off of that a little bit and more into the mental health side of
Well,
things as
as we
well.
spoke about in the first episode, obviously we were talking about my addiction to alcohol, but as I stated in the first episode, my mental health didn't go away. So although I broke the habit, we spoke about that, and I managed to stop drinking. Obviously, my mental health isn't perfect, and to be honest with you, this week hasn't
Mm.
been great. I've had a busy week. I've had a lot going on and that, and my sleep's been bad. So I've actually not had the best week mental health wise. So which probably makes it an even better time to put a video out. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? While
because
it's
it's a
raw and
bit
it's in my
more.
brain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, it's hard. Like it's funny because we're in two completely different places, but
Mm.
it just shows how much it can like affect you in different ways. That like you say, you've had a busy week, but then for me, work's been really dead
Yeah.
recently. So then I'm the opposite, where I'm like, my mind isn't occupied
Mm.
thinking about other things. I'm just sitting indoors thinking, what I need to do something.
Yeah.
Who's about? Who can I chat to?
Yeah.
Like, just yeah, it's funny the way it can be just the littlest things.
Yeah. But
Each part of
it's
your
sort
day.
of irrelevant what it is you're doing in life day to day. If you're suffering with mental health, you're suffering. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You can have good days and bad days, good hours and bad hours. Obviously, me and my sobriety, I live 24 hours at a time.
Mm.
I can never think further ahead than that. I can confidently say I should get through today, but
Mm.
I don't know that. And then tomorrow's another day, and then I go again. But sometimes when you're struggling, you have to break it down. I have to live minute by minute, almost. You know what I mean? Let me get through this second, and then go again, and just
Yeah.
keep breaking it down into smaller portions to not make it too
Do you
daunting.
find that you struggle more if you're working or not?
Well, obviously, I think we spoke about it last week. That I had that 3 months off at the back end of last year,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
suffered bad.
yeah,
I really struggled badly. I need to work. I need to have motivation, someone to get out of bed for. I need to earn money. I need to sort of earn my place in this world and be a
yeah.
yeah a normal member of society. So yeah, being stuck indoors was really really hard for me. But then equally, yeah, if I've had a busy week and I haven't really had much free time at all, and then obviously with my sleep not being good,
Because sometimes it can come crashing down on you on one
yeah,
day where you haven't had time to think about how you're
yeah.
feeling, and
And
then
again, that's what I say about you breaking it down. I could be on top of the world 1 minute,
mm,
having a really good day, and then it could just be something that triggers me, something that sets me off, and suddenly my head's gone. And then, unfortunately, the demons pipe up about drink. They can come up very quickly. And sort
yeah,
of like once my head's gone, my brain will start telling me you need to drink,
yeah,
and then it turns into the devil and the angel. And 9 times out of 10, it's the devil and the devil. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's one bad devil, and then there's a really, really bad devil, and they're arguing with each other, and I've got to listen to these voices
Yeah.
and not really know which way to go.
Yeah, because I always found it quite interesting, like when we learned about the bipolar and stuff,
Mm.
when we looked into it, and like the most confusing one. That it sounds simple, but when you really get into it, you have to really work out is you're always most danger when you're on a high.
Yeah.
Like the way it works, that the chemical imbalance to be like feeling the best you are, I've got the best people around me, things are really good at the
Yeah.
moment, I'm happy, and then it could just be that switch where it goes, you don't deserve that.
Yeah.
Which is quite mad to think of, like to get
It's
your head around.
that's a big thing for me. Yeah, is I can't give myself any credit for anything, even my sobriety. Like, any time that I do bump into people, they obviously praise me for what I've done, and I can't accept it. Something in my brain that just won't allow me to be happy and be proud of myself. I have to try and put myself down, and then it turned into, well, let's be honest, it is only 2.5 years.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know that. I mean, I am proud of it, and obviously it feels like a much longer amount
Do
of
you
time.
think you think that way though because of the people you've met at AA and stuff that are 10, 20, 30 plus years?
Maybe, but then I think a big part of it is because I drunk for 13 years, and certainly alcoholically for 8 or 9 of them.
So you
Bad.
feel like you sort of want to match the drinking you've
Yeah, I
done in
did.
your
I did some
sobriety.
things that I'm really, really not proud of, and I wasn't a good person for a long time while I was under influence and
Mm.
addiction had hold of me. So I feel like I've got a lot of making up to do.
And quite ignorant of the fact that you was acting that way when you
Yeah,
were
I was
drinking.
in massive
So
denial
like it
of it.
wasn't like we say about the feeling at the end of the week of being like, oh,
Mm,
I've had a really bad week there. It's when you was drinking, that wouldn't be the thing you'd think.
no,
You'd still be down, but it weren't like at the end of the week you think, oh, I shouldn't have done that or I shouldn't
no,
have said
and
this. It was
again,
like,
I think we spoke about in the first week. Is I was truly convinced that alcohol and whiskey specifically for me was my medicine.
mm,
I honestly believed that was the thing that was keeping me sane
yeah,
and stopping me from being ill. Was if I was struggling or whatever was going on, if I could have a drink, I would feel better. And so I was so deluded that I started to truly believe that that was a good thing rather than a bad. And it
yeah,
wasn't until all the years later and the heart attacks and everything I went through that the pendulum swung and I started, there was more of a bad side to drink than a good,
yeah.
which for a long time, there was only an upside to drinking. It was the best thing in the world.
Especially when you're younger.
Yeah.
Just that first bit of freedom. The way it sort of works in steps of, well, I can now go further than just outside my house.
Yeah.
And now I can go to town. And now
Mhm.
I've got a little bit of money, I can go out with my mates.
Yeah.
And then it's sort of like, and I think it builds that point that when you hit 16, you're at parties, maybe younger, and then obviously especially like 18, when you're like, wow, this is the
Yeah.
pub now, or you're clubbing. And
Mhm.
it's that complete freedom and like euphoric where you're out
Yeah.
and you're drinking, you feel amazing.
Yeah.
And you just would never know. So there could be a club full of 2,000 people, and you don't know half of them could be
No.
alcoholics.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on with people unless they tell you, and even then you don't know if it's true.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it is difficult to know what's going on with people, and again, that's why we're doing this. Is in the hopes that people will come forward brave enough to sort of speak out, and yeah, just to let people know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was the hardest thing for me. Once I did go to meetings and things like that, and I met other people that were suffering exactly the same as me. The first time I went, I come out, I cried my eyes out
Yeah.
because I think there was a bit of relief. It was a mixture of emotions, but I do think that a big part of it was the fact that for the first time ever, I realised that I wasn't alone and that there was a reason, that there was a disease.
And that's truly admitting it.
Mm.
There's admitting it, and then there's turning up to a room full of people that
Yeah.
are going through the same thing and really saying, I think I'm in the same boat.
Yeah. Yeah. Hearing stories of people wouldn't have gone through the same as me, some worse, some not as bad, but
not that you'd think of it that way.
no, but we're all going through it
yeah.
together, you know what I mean? And then you start to realise you're not alone. And again, that's what this is to show people you're not alone.
Mm.
And the other thing that I wanted to get across was I haven't figured life out, you know what I mean? We're not preaching to people to say this is what you got to do and you're going to be happy, because as I just said, I've had a bad week myself.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing this, is not to sort of say like we figured it out, this is what you need to do to beat mental health, because I don't even know if you can beat it. To me, it might be an incurable disease that you can keep at bay, and there might be things that you can do to keep it down, but it's always going to rear its head, and you need to know how to deal with it if and when it does.
Yeah.
And for me, a massive, huge part, possibly the biggest, is talking about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Is getting it off your chest, is reaching out to someone, and yeah, even I mean, again with the emails and that, sometimes it's people sending me a long thing explaining everything they've been through and how it's affected them and things like that. I send the message back, and then I haven't got a reply again. And I think a lot of it is they've just vented it all out. I've acknowledged them and sort of said, look, I understand, I've had this and I've had similar, and I've given a few of
And
my
the option's there
experiences.
to message back if they want, and they've gone, no, that was enough.
And they've sort of got it off their chest and gone, oh, actually, that was enough. And and then
even
have
just
a
for
reply.
a day.
Yeah.
They might wake up the next day and think, no, I'm still feeling that, but just for that day.
Yeah.
It can change your perspective.
Definitely. So yeah, I do think it's very important, but I also understand how hard it is to do it. Again, I've done it myself.
Yeah.
So the first time I had to send that message, my pride and my ego couldn't accept it. To me, it was like a weakness, and it really isn't. It's the opposite of that. It's actually strength in abundance. You know what I mean? Compared to what my brain was trying to convince me. And again, that's the angel and the devil trying to sort of turn me the other way.
Yeah.
And you have to beat it. You have to beat your demons, and you have to sort of overcome it somehow.
Yeah. The only other thing I was going to ask you actually was, not I use the term, but I'm not going to go too deep into it because I don't know enough properly about it. But it's like the body dysmorphia. A lot of people suffer with that, whether it's mine or whether it's not quite. Obviously, there's a lot deeper to that which I don't know about. But obviously, without embarrassing you too much, even when we've done this, you put your jump on, you're like, is that bad? Obviously, even last week, like I've said, I've never been bothered about my weight. I said, but I noticed the top I was wearing. You could just see a ring of my belly button, just where it's a bit too tight. And it's like, it's such stupid little things that you can't help look and go, what I do just to go back to pull my top out. Just because I'm not bothered about how it looks, but it's just a bit embarrassing.
I realised the last one on my belly. That's why I was more concerned this week.
That's what I mean.
Because I noticed in my belly, now that we've acknowledged it, I'm going to have a
that's what I mean. Yeah, but that's what even now I'm trying not to like touch the mic or move that, but I keep just occasionally having a little. But I think that nowadays is one of the biggest things. You know, like a few years back, it was people accepting mental illness and depression, and obviously learning about the different types. And then the thing I'm noticing more and more now is people just so like in their own head and self-conscious. And deeper than that, the body dysmorphia.
Yeah, I've definitely suffered. I mean, again, I don't fully understand it. I don't know if there is a diagnosis. If there is, I certainly haven't had it.
Yeah.
But I feel as though I've suffered with that in both ways. As far as sometimes when I'm on and up, I can convince myself I look better.
About the drink.
Yeah.
We spoke about when you were drinking how big you got.
Yeah, and I didn't realise it.
And obviously you had no idea, but then like the people we are, as we'll laugh about now, and you go, fucking look at the state of that one, or oh, look at this one. But then obviously deep down, you know that it's like embarrassed and being like you openly said to people how embarrassed you was with how you could be when you was drinking. And then you look back, and I was wondering, when you look back and you see you at your biggest and still acting arrogant and being a bit nasty, do you then think, how was I getting away with that? Yeah,
and again, I don't know if I mentioned it in the first one, but I don't recognise that person.
No, you did. Yeah. I remember you saying that.
So it is hard when I look back. I mean, I have to laugh about them. Some of them 100%. I won't watch full stop. I sort of know what they are. Yeah, that's got to go. And I've even deleted a lot because I'm like, I don't want a reminder. But at the same time, sometimes I like the reminder.
Yeah.
It's a bit of perspective just to see how far gone I really was compared to where I am now. So I do like to keep some of them and to watch them back. And as I say, I will show them to people and laugh about it because you sort of have to.
Yeah.
Rather than me getting upset every time I see one. It's easy to just go, look at the state of that. What was I up to? Sort of thing. But yeah, no, it is hard to look back. And then even now, when, not right now, but certainly after I first got sober, I was working out a lot. And I was dieting, I was exercising. I'd got into probably the best shape of my life at one point. Even like what would I have been, 26, 27? When I was sober, and that version
similar to me now then.
That version, that 26-year-old me would have smashed the granny out of 18-year-old me, and I kept thinking it at the time.
You did say it as well.
Yeah,
you telling me
I'm thinking if 18-year-old me was to pipe up to that 26-year-old me, I would have smashed the life out of him.
Yeah.
I was in the shape of my life, and then obviously I had the diagnosis with the Korsakoff syndrome and things like that, and then I'll come away from it because I couldn't work out. Physically, I was unable, and then mentally, I dipped badly.
It was a real setback. Yeah.
Oh my God, a horrendous setback that I honestly thought I was going to drink through, and specifically drink to kill myself.
Is that because it's like you get that diagnosis and you think, what's the point?
Yeah, because
if
then
I've
obviously
drunk myself to that point, what is the point?
Yeah, I started getting the dark thoughts again of I should have just drunk myself to death.
Yeah.
Why am I here? Why am I still here in pain?
Suffering.
I had an out.
Yeah.
With them heart attacks and that was meant to be my out. That was sort of semi-planned at the time. So then to be sober, I did, and I've said it to my missus before as well, when I've been on a downer and she sort of copped me. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I've sort of said to her then, I should have just drunk myself to death.
I was going to say, I don't think a lot of people realise just how short your temper can be sometimes because you're so placid and nice with people. But even like I just said it to you, we're having a real, people don't, obviously not to keep bringing it up, but people don't realise how much of a struggle it is just to set this up because we don't do this sort of thing and our chargers don't work for the microphone and we're setting it up. I think Harry had to unplug it twice, and he's like, "Oh, I've had enough of this now." And
I'm
that's like
very
all it
short
took. And I
fusey,
just
yeah.
said, "I was it's such a short temper." So
Yeah.
that no one would know that about you
We
because
should start
normally,
recording that and put the behind
yeah,
the
I
scenes
know,
out.
yeah, yeah.
Like, because I can smile now, but 10 minutes ago, I was ready to smash this room to
Yeah,
bits.
that's what I mean. But it's funny that a lot of people wouldn't know that.
No, I'm very short fusey. I get the ump very fast, and I have to catch myself. But then again, all of the work that I've done on myself, as far as the step work, everything I've done inside my recovery, a lot of that is surrounded by getting rid of my what we consider to be character defects.
Mm.
So one of my biggest character defects was my ego, was me believing that I was something that I wasn't. I've had to do a lot of work on my ego, which isn't easy when you're really good looking, which is like I am. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's hard
I
to.
can confidently say I'm 20 stone and
Yeah.
I'm better looking than you.
That's mental.
I am. I'm just
Let's
proud
just
of
leave
that.
that. We'll leave that.
I'm-
Comment down below. Oh, I'm joking. Yeah, no, I've had to do a lot of work on my ego. I've had to do a lot of work on my, me being short fusey and things like that.
Mm.
So I can, even though, like you say, I'm a bit like, I'm going to lose the plot. I'm not. I am
No,
going,
you just-
having a breather, getting on it, and now I'm fine.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
beforehand, I am giving up. I'm
Yeah.
pushing the thing over, and I'm going, "Oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it." And then I'm walking out of the room, and everyone's like, whoa. Whereas now I can get the because I'm still human,
Yeah.
but I'm able to calm myself down and go, right, breathe through it, get through it, and so I don't really let the old me come out.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I say. It's funny, obviously, like we've mentioned quite a few times now about ego
Yeah.
and what yours used to be like.
Still is.
Yeah, and still is to a certain extent. Obviously, more in like a joking
Yeah.
way. But yeah, that's why I say I brought up sort of like the body dysmorphia thing.
Yeah.
Because that's a big part of the ego, and that's what made it pop into my head. Is I'm like, I know a lot of people that have an ego.
It's just because you looked down at me up and down and then brought it up. That's what hurt my feelings a little bit.
I was looking, there was just zero bulge.
Oh.
And then I
The
thought
baggy,
about
the
it.
baggage.
No, well, I've got nothing either. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And we've been cursed with no bum.
Yeah.
That's just a nickel straight, I think.
Bad, yeah.
Sadly, doesn't matter. I mean, how many squats you were doing?
And I was doing loads, nothing.
Nothing.
I spent 60% of my life pulling my jeans up. Trying to,
yeah, tightening your belt. I had to put extra holes in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who at 20 stone should be putting extra holes in their belt to try and keep it tight?
Mm-hmm.
So like most people you see, and they're just wide,
Yeah.
and they just maybe can't even fit a belt, and
Yeah,
then
exactly.
we have to put extra holes in it because I've just got nothing there.
Mm.
But luckily for us, I think as people, we, like we say, we laugh and joke about it, and we can get through it. And I genuinely ain't hurt if someone says, "Oh, you're fat," or blah blah. Or even like as stupid as the football. It's like a backhanded compliment when people keep saying when I play football, "Oh, you're so good, but if you could just get a bit of fitness." And I was laughing yesterday with like a couple of them. I'm like, I'll try. I could lose weight and blah blah. I said, but it's just having that motivation to go and like, it's that back and forth of like, yeah, I could get healthy and I could look the way people want me to look, but then I'm like, is that truly, would that make me happy?
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because I obviously, when I first got sober, I then started dieting and exercising that, like I say, and I lost about 4.5 stone.
But was that partly to help keep your mind off things as well, keep you busy?
Yeah, it was one of those things I wanted to do, and I finally had the time and the motivation to do it. So I actually started doing it towards the back end of my drinking. I'd started working out a little bit anyway, because I've gone through my weight's fluctuated over the years. I've gone from sort of 15 stone back down to 11,
especially
then
from
up.
stick thin as a kid.
Yeah.
As well.
So I wanted to do it again, and then I did lose a load, and it's really hard.
Yeah,
That's not a surprise to tell people. It's really, really hard to lose weight. It's a 24-hour-a-day thing of putting the right amount of food, the right foods, exercising at the right time, getting rest, getting water,
and specifically trying to figure out what yours is.
For your body.
What you need to eat and what exercises you need to do at what weight you're at, because it will change. Say for someone as big as me, I wouldn't have to do that much now to lose the first couple of stone because of how unnatural the fat is. But then I'd end up hitting a point where I'm like, okay, now I'm struggling. You've got to change that whole plan up again.
Yeah, your body gets used to certain things. So you can't, for example, work. We do physical work, but you're not going to continue to lose weight through that, because eventually your body gets used to it and go, we do this every day.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to carry on losing weight from it. So then you have to do other stuff. So obviously you'll get into certain workouts and that you'll be doing the work for you, but eventually your body adjusts and then you have to mix it up again.
Yeah.
Hence why, I'm really not trying to pretend like I know a lot about gym and working out things like that. I don't compared to
But then once again, even with that, you wasn't afraid to ask people.
No, I did my research.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why it's different.
You have to do your homework. So I would research things daily, and like that Bruce Lee quote of, I know it's always Bruce Lee quotes, isn't it? But yeah, it's sort of retaining what's useful and discarding what isn't. You know what I mean? I would try
that earlier as well.
Possibly.
I think you did. I'm pretty sure you used it about 20
Why
minutes
ago. Why are you outing me?
Just it popped into my head. I was like, I knew that now. I
Yeah.
already knew that, so
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
knew he was going
gaining
to say
any
that.
knowledge from
Yeah,
that. They
exactly.
will,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm not.
They probably heard it as well.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, and again, you have to do your research, as you just said. You have to ask questions. That's the only way
Yeah.
to learn. Like you're not born with the information, so you have to educate yourself, whether it be with exercise, whether it be mental health. You know what I mean? Is I do research on things that can help. I've done it before. I'm not afraid to admit that I've gone on YouTube and put in how to help with depression.
Yeah.
It's annoying when I'm on an up and it comes up in my suggested.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Struggling with anxiety. I'm like, oh. But I've done it before. I've Googled stuff, best, and it'll come up with a list, 7 best ways to help with depression. And some of it might be do a puzzle. And I'm like, no. You know,
You tried it though.
I did. I did.
Oh,
Me and my
I was gonna
missus tried
say.
doing a puzzle, and again, I lost the plot.
Yeah, don't
We were
surprise
missing.
me.
I'm pretty sure we were missing an edge piece, and then I'm ready to smash it all up. I'm done. I'm over it. But yeah, so again, I'm sort of reading this list of stuff that might help with anxiety or help with depression, and again, people have probably done the same. And I'm not embarrassed to admit that, or embarrassed to admit that I tried the things on the list.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? When
well,
it said try it,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'd rather go. And sometimes it didn't work. Other things did a little bit. There's things that I still do to this day that if I'm struggling a little bit, I can go, right, let me do this.
Yeah.
And I'll find something to do that's worked for me. You know what I mean? Even a lot of people find it with games, and not even PlayStation, that just phone games.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm not going to try and promote getting addicted to phone games and that, because I know that that's another thing.
Well, I was going to
itself.
say there's so many like idle clicker games as they
Yeah.
call them now, where it's literally you're not doing anything other than you're just generating something, whether that's like a money, a little tab,
Yeah,
you'll just be clicking it.
Yeah.
And it's like similar to like when them fidget spinners come in. And obviously, a lot of us did take the mick, but then I remember there was one day I'm laughing about it at a mate's, and his little brother had one, and I was sitting there, and obviously like now I struggle to not move around. I'm one of them. I'm constantly swaying my legs, and I'm sitting there. I said, and it was one of them. I'm absolutely ruining his little brother. Next thing you know, I'm sitting there flicking this thing. My legs hadn't moved in about 20 minutes, and I was like, it's mad to think these things actually do work.
It does
and
work,
that's why you say like with mobile games and stuff, you do end up sitting there clicking, and you forget yourself for an hour.
I play a game called Woody Puzzle. Other games are available, by the way.
Yeah,
not to start promoting unless they sponsor us.
Yeah,
But
preferably first sponsor if we could just.
I mean, shall I just acknowledge that I don't have a Monster today?
Well,
and I'm drinking...
you can, just because I don't think it's fair that you've started all bold when I said about the Red Bull, going, no, Monster's better, and now you haven't even got a Monster. Yeah.
I haven't been to the shop.
Well,
for anyone that doesn't know, it was UFC on last night.
Big up John Jones.
John Jones won, heavyweight champion he is. But we stayed up and watched that, so I haven't been to the shop.
Yeah.
But again, even that's a big thing for me. I went football yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm an Arsenal fan. If anyone doesn't know, Arsenal won 3-2.
At the moment, it's the best time to tell someone, isn't it?
That's what I mean. And I went up to the game yesterday. I got season tickets. So I'll go every week. And I went up there, and we had, for any football fans out there, went 2-0 down, come back 3-2. The feeling I got from that last goal going in was better on my life, better than any drink, any alcohol buzz I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And I had some great nights out. But that feeling, that natural endorphin rush, was better than anything.
That's like adrenaline junkies, though, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
People that do the base jumping and skydiving and things like that, and it's sort of like when you just get a minor taste of something like that. Obviously not like football when you're obsessed like us, but just that minor taste where you go, wow, like, I'm never going to get that with anything else.
And that can massively help with mental health issues and that. And me going football, we won. Because if we hadn't won, I'm coming back with a raving up.
Yeah.
And then probably not wanting to stay up and watch the UFC, or I might have done still, but not been in the best mood. I would have struggled to do this today.
Yeah.
Pardon me, so gassy.
Yeah.
So gassy. But managed to sort of watch an Arsenal game that we won and was buzzing off that. Come back, watch the UFC, who we wanted to win, won. And it's transformed my whole week.
Yeah.
And that is, even though obviously we're sort of die-hard football and have been since we were born, essentially it's a hobby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is really, obviously, to us, it's a lifestyle. It is life, yeah. But obviously, people look at it as a hobby. So, yeah, let's just, for argument's sake, say it is. My hobby is to go to football, and that makes me happy. So, what I'm trying to say is that is a big thing to get over. It's to find something to do.
I think hobbies are very, very important. And even if they are the most minor of things, whether that's just, I'm going to go and walk up the beach.
I love a walk.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Walks are different because obviously you can go on long walks. But I mean, as in even for people that don't drive and maybe you can't get somewhere, just as simple as I'm going to go for a walk along the beach 3 nights a week.
Definitely.
If there's like a certain time you think the sun's gone down enough and that looks really nice, and I find that calming and peaceful.
Well, music as well, because I'll sit there and sometimes it takes me longer to make the playlist than it does
you're getting
to go on
excited
the walk.
putting them in, buzzing to listen to them.
And again, that comes down to where my mental health is on that day and at that time, as far as whether I'll make something a bit jumpy to put myself in a good. And I want to hear that, and I'll walk down. Other times I'll put the most depressing songs, but to me it helps.
Yeah.
And I'm walking down the road as if I'm in the music video,
Yeah.
getting all upset down the beach by myself and that. But it helps me a lot.
It's really weird, right? Completely separate way,
Mm.
as you just said that. And this could out me as the weirdest kid.
Okay.
Did you ever find when you was in the car when you were younger, because
I
certain
already know what
songs
you're gonna say.
on the radio, you'd look out the window,
Yeah.
like that, pretend you was in
Hoping
a
it
film
rained
or something. Do
as
you know,
well.
like
Yeah.
at the start of a film when it like pans to the main character and they're just looking
Yeah.
out the window and the song's playing, they're going down a long road. I used to think that something I was
No,
sitting
so I
there
do it all
going,
the time when I'm walking. It's literally that same thing.
but then
Yeah.
I feel like that's like that thing I see it like all the time where they say about being the main character.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's that sort of thing where it's like it changes as you get older. They're them little victories that you can just escape in your own head and just be the main character.
But as you mentioned, as well, I love that. Be the main character in your life.
Wicked, yeah.
And I remember it was a thing before about don't let any, like, you need to write your own story. Don't let anyone else hold the pen. And yeah, again, I think that's massive because you can become a side character. And I know I did, certainly in early sobriety, was something I define myself, put myself to the back again, and sort of not really get involved in conversation. I'm there, but I'm just sort of existing.
Yeah, I think if you can't be the main character, you'll never figure out like what you are, what your personality is. Why that's caught you out?
I don't know. Just because we try so hard, because we don't edit this. So the whole point is to do it smoothly without, and then you're gonna. I mean, even as I talk now, you're gonna mix up your words and that. We've done it a few times now.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with that. I think that it's important to, I don't know, put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as not just putting yourself to the back, like I say that I did, because you do end up missing out. And sometimes I choose to stay in now. I don't really go out all the time. I like staying in. I've got an enjoyable life. I'm very content. I enjoy what I do for a living, so therefore I can wake up in the morning, go to work, doing something I like. I come home to my missus, and I've become that person now.
You said missus about 8 times.
Yeah, but I'll shut these curtains. I'll light candles, and we'll watch a series. You know what I mean? And I'm very happy with that.
What scent do you go for?
I mean, I can't smell, can I?
No, but you still read.
I don't know. To be fair, I don't know what they are.
Fair enough.
She picks them, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but no, I'm happy doing that.
Yeah,
Again, the, let's say 23, 24-year-old me would have given someone serious stick for that.
Yeah, because it's
you doing, you melt, you got to come out and all that.
Being a bloke, too much of a man.
Yeah, it gets in the way, and that's why. I mean, this is aimed at everyone. And the emails that I got was both male and female.
Yeah,
I had multiple, which I love because it's open to everyone. It's hard because a lot of things are going to come from a male perspective because that's what we are. But at the end of the day, it's open to everyone, and everyone's to sort of have their own perspective and interpretation of what we're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
But obviously, it is a massive talking point in recent years is male mental health because of people not talking about it.
Yeah.
So as I say, this is for everyone, but I mean, we sort of have to push it a little bit of like men having to speak out and be proud.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I think women tend to find within their friendship group more naturally, even if they don't know some. I mean, I could be wrong here, and obviously tell me if I am. But the way I see it is like a lot of the time, so even on a night out, you'll see girls talking first time they've met, and next thing you know, they know your whole backstory.
Yeah.
And it's some in women that they can be so more open with each other. Then with a bloke you meet and it's alright, how you doing? Yeah, and you don't really tell them too much about yourself, and then
you can know a man for 10 years and not really know who they are.
Yeah.
But it will be your girlfriend or whatever that will ask questions about it. They got brothers and sisters, and I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Then you go to school with them, yeah. Known him 15 years. Never been around his house. Just don't know anything about him. Yeah, but I was the same. I didn't discard information or give information to people about myself.
Yeah. Strange.
Yeah.
You just never know. But no, yeah, I was going to say, obviously, we appreciate all the messages in. And like I've said a few times, anything you want us to talk about.
Yeah,
because like today, we haven't really stuck on anything in particular. But so I'd like to maybe have an episode where we do talk about like body dysmorphia, because I know a lot of people relate to that. And then obviously there's another one where we can talk about being the main character and being able to be a bit more confident, because we are confident people.
We can certainly pretend.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And
whether we believe it, but that's part of that is that being the main character is forcing yourself to believe. No, I'm confident enough to do that.
Fake it till you make it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think even if you don't want to comment in and say this is how I'm feeling, but you'd like us to talk about something, that's also just as big as reaching out. to be able to just sort of say that I feel like I'm suffering with this.
Mhm.
I'm not sure, but if you could talk about it, it'd be nice to hear someone else's like.
Yeah. Well, again, the
opinion.
email's open. Please use it. And that's why, I mean, we was going to anyway, because of people messaging me about specifically the mental health stuff. That's why we've stuck onto that and sort of committed to that's what this is going to be.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to talk about week in, week out, and make that the main theme of this podcast.
Yeah.
So
But yeah.
gassy.
Huh?
So gassy.
Yeah. So.
Mm.
Well, yeah. So I think we'll probably leave it there.
Yeah,
Again
I don't even know how long we've done again, but I
Yeah,
think, yeah,
about half an hour.
solid.
But yeah, as I say, and then obviously if people want longer, if people want shorter,
Yeah.
it's still open. Like no one said, obviously people are still just liking it and it's appreciated. So if you don't say, we'll just keep going. Or if you're bored of us now, then tell
We'll
us,
just
and
keep going
Harry
anyway.
won't break his phone next time. So we'll just stop doing the videos. You won't be stressing.
Yeah.
No,
I'll find someone else to be angry about. Don't touch me.
it's not your fault.
Goodwill hunting me.
Well, big up John Jones, big up Red Bull.
Yes. Yeah.
God bless.
Love you all the bits. Take care.